Hey guys, welcome back. I know I am a little bit late to the party, but today I want to look with you at the new Banlist prediction, or the new Banlist we will get when Tearlament comes out. For the last couple of days I've been on a trip with my girlfriend, so I hadn't the time to do this video, but I will deliver now. So let's look at it and let's think about the question, or ask ourselves the question: is this enough to not make Tearlament tier 0, to not make it like the worst most broken deck in the game? And what do we have here? So we have the Primeval Planet Pearl Rhino, so the field spell to 1. We have the Miller and Fusion names to 2, and we have Kid Carlos to 1. The other cards we will most likely get is Kaleido Heart, Ulkalos, Rhino Heart. So these ones doesn't really matter because you only play them at 1. And I would say Kid Carlos, as you can see here in the TCG and OCG, over there, Kid Carlos is banned. That's the reason why over there, and we will look at this in a moment, they play the deck. This is the OCG. They play the deck with the King of the Swamp to have Fusion substitute for Kid Carlos, because you need Kid Carlos to make a Rule Carlos, as you can see down here. But Kid Carlos is not in the extra deck because it is banned. The funny thing is that Kid Carlos to 1 isn't really that important, because most Tearlaments lists also only played this at 1. Of course, in the new Kashtira meta, where Kashtira can like rip cards out of your extra deck, steal cards from your extra deck, you would then play Tearlament Kid Carlos at 2, just to have another copy if your first copy gets ripped out of the extra deck. But other than that, you would most likely put the Kid Carlos back into the extra deck via the Ishizu shufflers, for example. So most lists in the TCG and OCG played this at 1, so this does not really make a difference. Of course, it would make a difference putting this to Forbidden, as we have, you can see there, in the TCG and OCG, but I think that would be too much. Of course, Konami doesn't want to kill the archetype, because when we look at the TCG, and I showed you in another video the most recent results of the 3 big YCS tournaments in the TCG, the Tearlament deck is basically dead over in the TCG, and they have this Forbidden, they have this at 1, TCG is this at 3, sorry, and they have the names at 1. So they had the names at 1 before the OCG a few weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, put these to 1, and that was enough to kill the deck. Over in the OCG, this is a metagame report from January, and it was hit here. You can see Reinhardt is at 1, Shavian is at 1, Harfness is at 2, Merly is still at 3, 2 of the Ishizu shufflers are at 1, and the other 2 shufflers are at 3, and you have the planet at 1. So I think when we want to understand what will Tearlament do in our meta, we can look at the OCG at round about this time. I mean, of course, we have these here at I think, now I have to look it up. Not quite sure. Keldo, I think we have them all at 2. Yeah, we have them all at 2, but we have Mudora at 3. So we are pretty close to the ratios when it comes to the OCG here. So this is, I think, our best bet to look at the situation. We have the planet at 1, the OCG has the planet at 1. And yeah, we have these at 2. So over in the TCG, as I already said, putting everything to 1 was enough to, and Kid Carlos banned was enough to destroy the deck. So it's no longer meta relevant. The OCG just recently hit every Tearlament 1 name to 1, and we still have to see if the deck is dead over there also. But we can see here, and this is, as I said, like the status that our Tearlament Ishizu cards are in, I would say. You can see here in the breakdown, and of course, this is just an example. You could go to like another week and look at this, but you can see Tearlament was still making up 36.6% of the metagame. It's important to note that over in the OCG, the Kashtira cards, as you can see here, this is Kashtira Fenrir and Kashtira the field spell, Kashtira Planet Raidsoff. These were also hit, and Kashtira is definitely a deck that is like the counter deck to Tearlaments, because Tearlaments, as I already said, plays with the graveyard, and Kashtira plays with the banish pile, and the boss monster Reinhardt banishes all cards that go to the graveyard, so this is a hard counter to Tearlaments. So you have to keep in mind that here in the OCG, the Tearlament is still that strong at this point, 63.6%. Also because the Kashtira cards were already hit, but as we don't have the Kashtira cards, and Kashtira is the biggest opponent to Tearlaments in this situation, I think we can be pretty sure that we will have a picture that looks close to this. Tearlament will be the strongest deck that we have. It will be close to a tier 0 deck, I would say, but for sure will be the strongest deck. If Konami wants to change that, they would need to ban kit colors or follow the structure that they have followed in the TCG and OCG and put the names to 1. Funny enough, the Primeval Planet per Rhino to 1 isn't that important. As you can see in the TCG, the planet is still at 3. This searches you a Tearlament name and then has some cool bonus effects. The planet is still at 3, but the deck is not played anymore. So putting the names to 1, that seems to be enough to hit the deck's consistency that much that it cannot really play and compete with the meta. And also, kit colors is a really core element of the strategy. You want to reach kit colors in your board building situation, and from kit colors on you can go into rule colors, you could say boss monster in the end. And this also mills you more cards. This is super important. It's easy to get to, and that is why banning this and forcing the players to play with the King of the Swamp to replace it makes the deck way more inconsistent. And so I would say we are not quite sure now if we get the Tearlament Scream, for example, because this comes out in Darkwing Blast and we are now at Power of the Elements when it comes to sets that we get cards from. But Tearlament Rule Colors we will also get, and this was also in Darkwing Blast, so who knows? It seems that Konami wants to give us the whole package, just give it to us, and then we are done with it. And I think for a while we will play with this here, with 1, 2, 2, and 1. This will be the strongest deck in the game by a great margin. You will see a lot of Tearlament on the ladder. I think Sprite will be a deck that can still compete with it, and I have also another video that I will show you tomorrow where I will show you like direct counter decks and cards that you can use to counter the Tearlament strategy. But as of right now, as of this ban list, this will be the strongest deck in the room, and I think that sometime in the future when Konami is okay, the player base has enough of Tearlaments, they don't want to see it anymore, I think then they probably will go the route and just hit the names to 1 as they did in the TCG and OCG, and then the deck will probably be dead, or we get the Kashtira archetype. And if the Kashtira archetype gets unbanned or is not limited when it comes out as it was in the OCG, I think the Kashtira cards could still then dethrone Tearlaments and be the new best deck in the room. This is a card I was talking about, Kashtira Arisart, as this is basically a Macrocosmos on Lex. As long as it's on the field, every card that goes to the graveyard is banished instead. Of course, this is really bad for the Tearlament strategy, and as I said, I will show you a video tomorrow where I'll show you decks you can copy, cards you can use to counter the Tearlament strategy directly, but you can also still play other good decks like Despia, like Sprite, or Sword Soul, Mathmech. Those are still decks that will be good, and you still can climb to Diamond 1 with them, but I will make a tier list video in a few days, I guess next week it will come. But yeah, that's it for now. As I said, just to summarize, this deck will be the strongest deck in the room. We can see it over here in the OCG, where I would say the hits were like even worse than we have it, because they don't have kit colors, and this is really important. Of course, they have like triple Mudora, triple Kelbeck. We have only Kelbeck at 2, but they have the other, the Millers at 1, for example, though they still have Merly at 3. So I would say the situation is comparable, but they have it worse, and this is still the best deck in the room. So yeah, this is what we are looking at. This is what will happen. We have to live with it. This is the world we are living in now. But as I already said, tomorrow I will show you a video where you can, or where I will teach you to counter Tearlaments, and then also on Monday I will do a video where I open the Tearlament packs. I will do should you buy it for the pack, and we will also look about over a potential Tearlament deck list that you can use, which of course will look something like this that you can see here. You can see here in the extra deck most of the cards that you can see here we already have. Besides of this is Grapha. I don't think we have Grapha right now. Other than that, we have most of the cards, and I think that the extra deck will look a lot like this. Of course, not exactly like this. Maybe we don't play the Shadow package here, but we will see. That's it for now. We will see each other tomorrow in the next video. Until then, have a great day and bye.